Okay, we got Shroud's game is dying from the Score Esports. Okay, let me see what is going on with Shroudy Rowdy's game.
I have been working on a game secretly for the past 2 years, and now that secret's out, and that game is called Spectre Divide, made by Mountaintop Studios. This has been a really fun, interesting project.
The new game that Shroud is promoting, Spectre Divide, is just over 3 months old, but is already being racked with cheaters, layoffs,
Oh, new FPS game already getting destroyed by cheaters? Who would have thought?
and a disappearing player base. Things aren't looking good, leaving people wondering if this game is dead on arrival.
So, I'm a fan of Shrouds. I know what Shroud's about for the most part. He's pretty good at M&K, FPS. He likes that shit. He does a little variety. Okay, I get it. He's really big into FPS. He likes that shit. Okay. And I would also like to think that most of his audience probably has a lot of similar interests, and a lot of similar, not entirely, but kind of similar ideals and what they're looking for in an FPS game. You know, Shroud's he likes TAC FPS, that whole spiel. And from what I know, Spectre Divide was, I think it was a tactical FPS, and it wasn't bad by any means. I mean, it had to do something to separate itself from Valorant and CS. All right, and I don't think it was bad by any means, but I don't know if they were just ill prepared for the amount of people that were just willing to play it. And then because you have this kind of built-in audience, it's oh, there's going to be some amount of people here. It's kind of popular-ish, at least within this community. And if you've been playing FPS for a long time, you know that the moment an FPS game starts to get a little popular, that is the platform or the go sign for cheaters to start invading your game. And I don't know if cheaters was the tipping point, the straw that broke the camel's back for this game specifically, but Shroud and his type of audience, they kind of tend to lean towards the competitive side. They just enjoy that shit, which is fine. I mean, yeah, perfect. Yeah. Let me hear.
Hey everybody, before we get into today's video, I wanted to thank our sponsor, JBL Quantum. The JBL Quantum 910 wireless headset is designed with competitive gaming in mind, and its Quantum Sphere 360 technology can help give you the edge in any game where sound matters.
Wait, is the only thing? I mean, because before, with headphones, it was bro, I remember back in the day when headphones were you can hear stuff in front, back, left, and right. There was just the four things. And now this headphone's coming out, and it's forward, front left, front right, all the way to the side, over the other side, back left, back right. All right, that's not that bad in terms of directional sound. I don't know if these what was it? So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if literally doubling the little sound directions is quantum. That's all this marketing. Quantum, it's quantum.
Whether you're trying to figure out where on earth the bomb is on Nuke or hear footsteps in Valorant, if you play TAC FPS, you need accurate spatial audio. And
I mean, not just TAC FPS, any FPS really. Come on. This honing in on a niche of a niche of a genre is kind of hilarious to me. But I mean, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
There's no other headset out there with JBL Quantum's Quantum Sphere 360 tech, which uses an algorithm to accurately render virtual surround sound alongside head tracking to ensure the positional audio is always precise.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
Visit jbl.com/gaming and follow JBL Quantum on Instagram to stay on top of the latest updates.
Wait, how much was that thing? Wait, where the fuck?
Out there with JBL Quantum's Quantum Sphere 360 tech, which uses an algorithm to accurately render virtual surround sound alongside
JBL Quantum 910. JBL Quantum 910. How much is this thing? For wireless. 150? Oh my god. Oh. Oh, 50% off? Oh god. I'm not trying to shit on the product or anything, but like I mean, if I liked oh wait, it's 150. Okay. Like if I was like super into like competitive FPS and it's wireless, I probably God, that's a hard sell. Okay.
head tracking to ensure the positional audio is always precise. Visit jbl.com/gaming and follow JBL Quantum on Instagram to stay on top of the latest updates. Alright, let's get back to the video.
Okay, so Spectre Divide is an in-development 3v3 tac shooter that takes inspiration from CS and Valorant, with the major twist being that players are able to control two bodies in a single round.
Two bodies in a single round. So instead of one life per round, what, you get two lives a round?
When playing, you can toss out a puck that contains your Spectre, i.e. your second character. You can then switch back and forth between the Spectre and your OG body, essentially giving you two lives. It's like a Phoenix ult mixed with Yoru's kit, and it works pretty well. Just given.
Oh, it's actually... That opens up for some, I don't know, some tactical bullshit.
In my short time playing the game, having these two lives offers a ton of creativity, allowing you to set up traps and crazy flanks sometimes too. But more
Yeah, until the player base develops the meta, and then it's like, oh, you're gonna pop around the corner with like one body, and then the chances of your other body being around the next corner is pretty much 100% until, you know, until like the meta is really defined. All right, it's cool and niche, and I would say it's in the newlywed phase. But bro, just give it like a year, not even a year, give it a couple weeks. People will figure out the meta, and it's like, oh, I got a flick right here, kill that guy, and then there'll be like no one on the screen, but it's like in the back of your head you'll think, oh, the chances of someone else popping up on that side probably really high. Probably gonna put my reticle right there. Oh, what do you know? Bang.
importantly, it provides players with more consistent action and agency. Rather than waiting around because you died early or feeling like a round is already over because you had to rotate across the entire map, you can be in two places at once. You can get a second chance. Now, the game itself is being developed by Mountaintop Studios, who have a ton of experience on their team, with devs coming from the likes of Bungie, Riot, Respawn, and plenty others. And on top of that, the game is also affiliated with one of the most popular streamers on the planet, Shroud. As one of the game's largest investors,
I will say this, I kind of like how the game looks. It's like pseudo cell shaded. And usually with cell shaded games, like cell shaded games, it's like it doesn't go for like a realistic look. And because of that, the game can last like many more years than like a game with like conventional going for like the kind of realism look.
he's been helping shape Spectre Divide for quite some time now. Love him or hate him, dude is very good at FPS and plays them for a living. Not to mention his insanely large community. A ton of companies would kill to have someone like that consult on their game and give them money. And as a result of his help and the veteran team behind it, the game is actually really fun. It's more than just a copy, despite its surface level similarities to Valorant. Unfortunately, this has not been enough to keep the game free of troubles. And for people actually playing the game, the main concern for a while has been a familiar one: cheaters.
The cheaters. Yep, I've said it once, I will say it again. For the FPS community that wants to come out with a new FPS game, and tout it as being the next most competitive thing, the next best competitive game in terms of FPS, it's not enough for you to come out and just make a good game. That formula works with non-competitive games. You need to come out and also have the ability to enforce the competitiveness of your game. An anti-cheat. You have to come out with a very robust anti-cheat system. Now, I don't know, maybe they did, and it's just simply not working. You know, the whole deal with, cheating in video games. It's a cat and mouse or rotating thing of, oh, the cheaters got the better cheats. Oh, we got to upgrade our anti-cheat. Oh, the anti-cheat's better. Oh, the cheats are going to get better. Oh, the anti-cheat get better. Oh, the cheats get better. And it's like this type of deal of who's the knows the knowledge, who's got the insider bullshit, who's got the knowledge, who's got the better cheats, and so on and so forth. And this is okay and understandable if you really like competitive games and you are already just really good at the game or just at FPS in general. But to a casual person, they don't care about that. The only thing a casual person knows is it feels like that guy's cheating. It feels like a lot of people are cheating in this game. This game is not worth my time. I'm out. That's the only thing that matters to a casual. If it feels like they're getting cheated on and they're losing way too much, they're just out. There is no next, maybe second impression, third impression. No, you have the first impression, and then that's it. You know, maybe like older gamers can kind of give a game like this like more than one shot. Like, oh, is the game better? No, not yet. Okay. But like younger people, no, that's not how this goes.
Okay, low-key. He might be.
Okay.
He might actually be.
Shortly after the game dropped into its early access, players hit Discord and Reddit to complain about all.
Why so many cheaters? Lots of cheaters in A, even more than I was in NZ. Played 3 blatant cheaters out of 7 games today. Smiley face. Today I had a cheater against me. Next game I had him in my team. Is it cash back balance game? I'm experiencing a trio queue of cheaters at the moment. When are the cheaters getting wiped? Hi Shadow. Hi. I'm grinding to champ already, but I can't fucking verse these cheaters. So many cheaters. Bad servers gonna make this game go into the toilet, man. Agree. Just play the same cheater team 3 games in a row. Reported. We'll see if anything is done. Will be nice to get notifications of any bans. There's definitely cheaters in SD. I've been against many already, and most even admit they are cheating. Hey, this game have cheater. Damn, I found some cheater in here. I got cheater already. Okay, so you gotta understand that all of these comments, there's no evidence of cheaters. I don't know if the game has like a kill cam type of deal, or like a watch my killer or watch my teammate deal. Maybe if they were to come out with like some evidence to see like some Unreal flicks or some bullshit, or reticles tracking through walls and then flicking instantly, like 1 frame, 0 reaction time for flicks and like getting kills, maybe. But just because you die doesn't mean you got cheated on.
Already facing cheaters, and the issue only seemed to get worse. Given that we've seen this in the past with games like The Finals, Deadlock for a moment, and of course CS2, I felt like I had to take a deeper look. Now, things aren't quite as bad as they are with CS2, with countless people.
And this is a core problem with TAC FPS. So, like, I have been like a casual in like aim training. So the type of aiming style that goes with TAC FPS is very flicky. All right, it takes, you have like some high refresh rate monitor, like 500 hertz refresh rate, 500 frames, and then you just flick onto heads, you click the head, and then they die. Once you start getting at least into like the bell curve of skill, and even more so when you start to go on like one side of like the more skillful side of the bell curve, it starts to get really hard to tell the difference between like what is like a 1 frame flick and like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 frames, or I'll give him a little more slack, maybe like a 5 or a 6 frame, just like instantaneously looking flick. All right. Most people can't really discern if that was like a human flick or it was like a cheat. And that's just the flicking like style of aiming. The other style is tracking, where the time to kill is a little bit is longer. You know, like let's say it'll take like maybe somewhere like 2 or 3 seconds to get a kill. Tracking is the harder aim style, and I would say because I think it's easier to tell from like a normie perspective of what looks like a cheated kill and versus like something that, like for a flicking style game, it's like, oh, is that guy just good or does he just have cheats? It's easier to discern like if someone is cheating or not if the game has like a longer time to kill. So because you have to be able to maintain like your reticle on top of somebody for a longer period of time, you know, you can tell like if the reticle is like shaky or if it's like pixel perfect. So let me see if I can get this. Like we got circle, that's a body, whatever. Okay, brush. So if you're tracking someone and like this is their torso, it is probably pretty common for, let's say you have like a 3-second time to kill, for like someone's reticle to be like, it's like as long as their reticle is like somewhere on their body, and it's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, perfect, great. That's probably like a realistic type of kill. Versus, you know, same type, like 3-second time to kill. Same thing, 3-second time to kill. Versus like a cheat where if this is the only thing, if you see their reticle just like on one point, no matter what kind of movement they're doing, you know, they could be strafing, like changing up the way they strafe, like they're strafing every which way to try to dodge your bullets. They're doing that bullshit crouch spam rolling shit. It's like, oh God. And you watch the kill cam or the video or whatever, and their reticle is literally stuck to a single point. It's like, okay, that guy is highly likely to be cheating. There are people that are just really that good, but you know, just going off the chances, all right? And this is something that normal people can see. All right? This is something a normal gaming person can see. You know, if you ask someone that doesn't play video games, they're obviously not going to be able to really tell the difference. But yeah, just from that perspective alone, you know, versus like a flicking type game where, oh, I can't tell the difference between like a perfect 100 or like a 1-frame flick versus like a flick that took like 5 frames. You could probably kind of tell, but like it's very hard.
Live streaming themselves, just full rage hacking. But a quick search on YouTube and you'll find a ton of content showing off and promoting cheats for Spectre Divide. And as far as the complaints go, we have once again reached out to the anti-cheat police department, who have been monitoring the situation, as they do with most games, and the community sentiment only seems to be getting worse. Even Coach from the ACPD, like so many others, says that the game itself is very good. It's just that facing cheaters every other match is not. Some have pointed to the use of BattleEye as their anti-cheat of choice.
Oh, stop using BattleEye. Oh, well, why not? Why don't any of these companies use like AnyBrain? I mean, that's the main anti-cheat that I always like vouch for. Like, those guys are jam up over there. What's this, like, Battle Eye bullshit or easy anti-cheat bullshit? Like, admittedly, this, like, Battle Eye and easy anti-cheat is supposed to be constantly being updated. I know, right? But I don't know exactly how robust it is.
Doubting its effectiveness. But Coach explained, it's actually not that bad.
I mean, and understandably, Battle Eye or easy anti-cheat cannot reveal how robust the system is, because if they do, they're literally just going to signal to the other cheaters like, oh, they're doing this and this for their anti-cheat system. Oh, well, we know how to get around that, so we're going to change our cheats to avoid that, okay? This is the cat and mouse thing.
And it does have kernel access. The issue seems to be that they aren't getting enough reports. Even something as strong as Vanguard wouldn't work as well without people doing manual reports to help supplement the automation. And the reason there aren't enough reports could be that there aren't enough players. The game is in early access right now, but its numbers have been dwindling as of late, with less than 1,000 daily players. And you want to know who usually isn't a part of that group of players? Shroud. Listen, the guy is an investor. He doesn't technically have an obligation to play the game if he doesn't want to. And I mean, Buddy can throw money at a new game every week and still...
I mean, and understandably, he's going up against Counter-Strike and Valorant. All right? Like, I can appreciate the passion behind the want to make another FPS game, but god damn it, like, let's stop beating around the bush. This shit is too similar to CS and Valorant. I don't care what abilities you want to sprinkle in or what little new mechanic you want to sprinkle in. It's about the same. All right? It's like 90% the same. I could play one tacky FPS. I could play one tack FPS and be damn good enough to just be able to transfer my skills into some other tack FPS. Come on.
It'll be fine. But it's hard to deny that it's not a great look for the game that Shroud, if Twitch Tracker is to be trusted, seemingly hasn't played the game since September 18th and hasn't uploaded it to his YouTube channel in a month. I'm not saying...
Yeah, and if a game's success is literally hinging on one person, one famous person for it to be successful, it's not going to be a good game. The game needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet without a famous person backing it. But I will say this, instead of being so critical. Trying to innovate the FPS genre is pretty damn hard, especially if you want to go just into the niche of tactical FPS.
Saying we have a Concord situation on our hands, but there have been a bunch of releases.
But it's not a Concord. What? Let me hear that again.
Hasn't uploaded it to his YouTube channel in a month. I'm not saying we have a Concord situation on our hands.
It's clearly not a Concord situation. Are you kidding me? Concord failed because of a bunch of other things. It wasn't the gameplay. Why would you even mention it?
But there have been a bunch of releases recently dividing people's attention, from games like Deadlock to
What? What is that logical jump? Concord was all about like identity politics and bullshit. The characters looking ugly and stupid. Nobody was really talking about the gameplay for Concord. It was probably just passable in terms of gameplay. I haven't heard anything bad about Spectre Divide in terms of identity politics.
Black Ops 2, even similar titles like Fragpunk. All
if anything, it's a Titanfall situation. When Titanfall 1 got released at like a bad time. Or was it Titanfall 2? One of those. There's what you just said. There's all those other FPS games coming out, and you want to try to squeeze in there yourself. So it's like, if I'm an FPS player, how am I trying to supposed to like pick one? All right, especially against Fragpunk, which is just like a tack, like wonky and wacky, silly tack FPS with like ricocheting bullets and whatnot. Yeah, it was just a bad timing of the release for the early access, I would imagine. If anything, you need to release that shit in an FPS drought, not an FPS flood.
3 games Shroud has been giving more attention to, by the way.
Yeah, this game is gonna easily, and I mean easily, take over in 2 years when it comes out, for sure.
Yeah,
It's the first like
Who says Shroud can't track? Shroud can track. He's decent. He's not that bad.
earlier.
arena shooter MOBA that actually is good. All the other ones kind of stink.
It also doesn't help that the studio behind the game has had to lay off 13 employees in order to support the future of their game. This isn't to say that Spectre Divide is dead in the water. As I mentioned before, the finals faced their own cheating issue, but has since bounced back and continues to go strong. Spectre Divide also recently had its first community invitational, and there's still a buzz about this game. People are begging Shroud to come back and play it more because they love it so much, and are
all 600 of them.
asking other fans of FPS to give it an honest chance. We even asked Tens his thought on the situation back in September, and he too says that although the game isn't for everyone, it does bring something very unique to the table.
That game is definitely like a very niche like audience game. I will think there's a lot of people that will like enjoy the game and like actually love it. But for like the pacing, it is very unique. I do think it's a cool game in itself.
It's attack FPS. It's slow. There, I said it.
I'm personally not a fan of like ADS shooters that much, but
Of aim down sight. Is this like a random another what do you call it? Another subgenre that we're just making for FPSs? Man, FPSs just can't catch a break. Now we have aim down sight shooters.
actually did enjoy playing that game and also playing in the tournament. It kind of showed like the cool stuff you could do with like supporting yourself. So being able to control 2 lives, I think, is really cool.
Is the game too niche, or is the market just too saturated right now? These are legitimate questions the
Probably
devs
too
are
saturated.
asking themselves. But what's clear is they aren't going to give up. Mountaintop have even claimed that they are committed to
Honestly, if you want the game to succeed, you gotta come in like swinging with a baller ass anti-cheat to end all baller ass anti-cheats. That's how you separate yourself. All these other competitive FPS games, they're like okay with their anti-cheat until like the next wave of cheating software comes out, and it's still going through the whole cat and mouse revolving door thing. But if you can come out with something that's pretty definitive, like you ain't getting past this shit, because that's what a lot of people look for in FPS, or at least like when they start to look for something like a competitive FPS. They want something that can galvanize their skill in terms of like trying to figure out something that can like be absolute. But, you know, essentially there is nothing absolute besides like a LAN tournament when it comes to like competitive FPS games, or, you know, like the ranked ladder or a tournament or something like that. You know, they want to have the competitive integrity of a LAN tournament, but in the seat of their own home. But when you do that, you know, that just opens up a can of worms for cheaters to try to get past it. It's like a challenge for them. Oh, this game has a really good anti-cheat. That's what they're marketing. Oh, let me, you know, crack my knuckles and get past this mother.
working on this game despite the waning audience. They've even privately reached out to the ACPD to see if there are opportunities to work together. And on their official website, the devs have been active, releasing updates on their progress with anti-cheat, patch notes, and community updates. Hell, the CEO even made a post quoting Mark Twain, declaring that Spectre Divide is not dead and that they have the resources to fund this game for the long run. As I've said, look at any video on Spectre Divide and you will see that there is an audience for this game who are dedicated to it and enjoy the hell out of it. and only want to see more people give it a shot. On top of all that, one of the biggest FPS streamers on the planet has put his name behind this project. So although he's yet to comment on any of these ongoing issues, his continued cosign can go a long way when it comes to boosting player numbers. We just might have to get him to stop playing literally any other game for that to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, right now, I would imagine that the FPS scene is probably swimming in a lot of FPS titles.
Like he's played the game and he just sees that like people aren't really watching when he plays it, and he's like, I'll lose more money in losing audience members because they don't care about this game than I did investing into the game.
Yeah.
Or maybe like he's just like, they're cooking something up and I'm just gonna wait until they're gonna do something big that's gonna differentiate this game even more than the competitors.
This video.
I mean,
I have been
overall, cool video. As far as like the game, like being good or bad or succeeding or whatnot, I mean, I would like for it to succeed because, oh boy, another M&K game. And I like M&K FPS, but like, I'm not so much a fan of tactical FPS. I am more so a fan of movement shooters, but admittedly, movement shooters are hard. They're more fun to watch, but you know, I'm not looking for something like Overwatch either. There's just too much shit going on in Overwatch or anything like that. I mean, TAC FPS, it kind of has like its own built-in audience. I don't know, but I don't. That's just my 2 cents. Overall, cool video. Good luck. Good luck. That's all I can say. But that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.